podcast, le comptoir des pièces. Yes. De 3. Avec nul autre que Corey
Darbyson.
Right. I didn't want to miss your name.
No, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Darbyson. Not right. The easiest to say.
No, exactly. Corey, thank you for being there.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Super cool.
So let's just introduce you.
I like the spot.
Yeah, you like the spot, eh?
Yeah.
Nobody sees the other side of
nobody needs to see
don't
it.
look at it.
No, it's very nice.
Here. Yeah.
Looks good on camera.
Yeah, it's the part counter. The concept behind that is that I've been working in a parts department for quite a number of years.
Yeah.
And most of the time you see customers coming in, bringing in parts, looking for parts, buying parts and leaving.
Yeah.
Some of the times there's people that just like to hang around the counter
and talk.
Yeah, and talk and expressing whatever they're feeling about COVID, about the Canadians, about whatever happening. Yeah. And people just like to hang around the parts counter. And most of the time, you people just like to chat about what you did last weekend and everything. So we do appreciate it, though. It's
like going to the barber.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the hairdresser.
Same thing, but like in our trucking industry, that's the equivalent. Yeah.
And they talk, okay, so it's similar to like when a trucker comes up to a dispatch window to talk. They
same spot, same thing, yeah. Different
okay.
Different buildings.
It's a good idea. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
So, comptoir des pièces.
Le comptoir des pièces.
C'est super cool.
All right. Corey, juste nous dire un peu ce que tu fais. Tu viens d'où? Puis tu travailles sur quoi ces jours-ci?
Ouais, super cool. Ben, je viens de Québec, né à Québec. Je suis un produit de Québec. Quand on s'est parlé, j'ai appris mon français dans une chambre d'hockey.
Yeah.
Puis Yvon Pedneau puis Pierre, ces deux-là. On écoutait les matchs d'hockey en français parce qu'en anglais, c'était it was bad luck en disant on voulait entendre les mots positifs.
Yeah.
Fait que c'était ça.
I want to interrupt you, but there's no better professor than no better teacher than Pierre was. Really?
Yes,
yeah.
And a French hockey locker room. I think you learn a lot of good words in there. So yeah, born and raised here. Been in supply chain. I would say I don't want to give away my age, but I would say more than half my life now.
All right.
So that'll give you
30 and up. Everybody.
Yeah, 30 and up, exactly. So I've been in supply chain more than half my life, all different aspects, and I run one of the largest, I think, 3PLs. It's hard to measure.
No, it's hard to measure.
It's hard to measure, but one of the largest 3PLs in Canada for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And then through that time, we had a good team. We had time to do a spin-off of our AI product with Alpha Intellect and SOPHIA. So intertwined in the supply chain, I've been in supply chain forever.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Like I've been into AI in the trucking business for a couple of weeks now. Actually, since I'm following you on LinkedIn, you guys put out content quite a lot on that topic. And I'm really curious, like, what is it you do on the AI side? And like, how was it difficult to do that over here in Montreal?
So a couple of questions. I'll answer the first one, the last one first. Super easy to do it in Montreal.
Really?
Montreal's, Québec super supportive of our AI culture, de qu'est-ce qu'on fait ici. Ils sont fiers des personnes ici, puis de traduire AI partout au monde. Is I think there's a lot of funds that are invested in doing that. So doing that is good. Starting anything and executing a plan is super hard, but I think the first step was convincing our partner, who is more of an AI. We were the business knowledge, Chris and I, one of the founders, my cousin, and then convincing Perry, and really knew about AI and how things were happening and was doing it early on, was always interested. So it took me probably 2 years to convince him to make the product SOPHIA. We brought it to life and gave her a name and a life, but it took about 2 years because he wanted a business plan. I'm not a conventional guy with business plans. If I can't write it on a napkin and we both agree, then I don't think we have a clear understanding. That was why Twitter was invented, to try and get your thoughts across in 140 characters. So ended up getting Perry on board. He started believing. We started building this thing out. And essentially what it does is it takes historical data and predicts what you should be doing the next day with your plans. So most trucking companies have a litany of orders, God willing, and a litany of truckers to fill those. And they need to match them. And there's different criteria. There's hours of service, there's miles, there's preferences, there's customer priorities, there's all kinds. And today, which doesn't exist anywhere in the world, we have a human that does that. And depending how big the transport company is either a full-time job, 4 hours a day, 6 hours a day, working late. If this person calls sick, and we were privy to it, if this person calls sick, we are in trouble. To plan the next day, and your revenue and your profits are there. So delivering your customers, so this SOPHIA is able to split out a plan in a minute. And what somebody does in an hour, the accuracy is 90%. So you can make some tweaks. I say it's 100, but there's always preferences.
Yeah, exactly.
And the AI kicks in when it starts looking at historical data and then giving you the suggestions of what you should do on the same day. So same day, real-time analysis, predicting what's going to happen based on weather, traffic spikes, and all of that, reading the APIs. So that's where we're at.
It takes in charge a bunch of different
takes a lot of data sets in, spits out a good answer. We've tested it. So we use it at D Square. I drink my own Kool-Aid. We had a planner leave. Man, I think he was amazing. He was leaving. COVID screwed up our way we think, but I think like sometime during that time he had left. He was leaving. And SOPHIA was just about to be finished, and instead of replacing, we introduced SOPHIA to the dispatchers. There's a video somewhere on our LinkedIn talking about like the dispatchers. I'm on a Teams call, and they're like, "Are you getting rid of us?" And I'm like, "No, we still need day-to-day talking with drivers is super important. This just replaces the plan."
I don't want to interrupt, but there's a whole dimension to it, like. Human, it's not because AI doesn't replace human one-to-one. Like you still need human interaction to make it work properly. For now,
I think for sure. I think the advancement of AI will be exponential over the next 10 years. Just look at just this week. I don't know when this podcast is going to air, but we had Sam Altman leave OpenAI from ChatGPT. And then scooped up for free by Microsoft. So they just bought $1 billion product and for $0. So that's I'd like to try that move one day. But he, what I understand in reading it is that how scary they're advancing AI, and that the board felt he wasn't being truthful, so they fired him on like some text message, get on a call. So it's super weird but that's how scary I think AI could go and could be. Look, with what we're doing at SOPHIA, I don't think we're changing the world, but we're adding a good application. We're not a TMS. We're adding a good application to your iPhone or Android that you use every day. You need a planner. This is a planner.
Talking about adding.
Yeah.
So this is, you mentioned it, this is not a TMS.
This is not a TMS.
Okay, so it layers over your existing TMS.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah,
it layers over. We're agnostic to TMSs. So, the business plan is, do we buy a TMS and then integrate it? We like the choice of being agnostic, being open for everybody to use. We've had exclusivity offers to sign with only one TMS, and we've turned that down. I think the price was right. I mean, we built it. With every entrepreneur, you want to have an exit, but I don't think we realized our full potential. It was like, it happened so fast. So
just wait a little bit.
Yeah, let's see. I want everybody to experience it. It's for us. It's super proud to see other companies using something you've built.
That you built.
Built from scratch. So, the business Transport D Square. I'm not a founder, so founding something and really bringing it to market and seeing a demand. Is a super satisfying thing. So I get a high on, the deal is the deal, but on getting a satisfied customer on board, it is super cool.
Yeah, it's something else.
Yeah. It's a trip. And we know we're solving problems. And when we get the email like they just planned their day, it's a too good to be true type thing where we went to Ayant and all these expos and they're like, does this really plan the next day? And we're like, look, we'll do it. And we give data sets. It's super easy. Demos 15. I don't want to be selling, but
no. It's not about being salesy, but just just I can understand and see very well that like there's friction to whatever new solution you bring to the transportation market. And I know that our industry is like,
There's papers everywhere.
yeah, there's still papers everywhere.
Yeah.
We we've been selling electric trucks for quite a while now.
Yeah.
For the last year or so, and we still got some companies that we sell trucks to approaching us saying, "Hey, do you have any kind of solution as of TMS?" Because the guy's doing that is 65 years old. He's doing all on paper.
Yeah.
I don't have any kind of way to control anything. So if he leaves, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Done, yeah.
I'm like gone, and I don't
Yeah.
operate my business at all.
Yeah.
So that's I think that in our industry, it's quite a reality of it.
Yes. Transitioning. So it all starts with the driver in our industry. So,
Yeah.
you know, and we could work backwards from there, but the driver's driving the truck. Without these people, we ain't getting anywhere. So everything added on should make that human's life a lot easier
Uh-huh.
to execute. And the driver, so this tablet of this man who's about to retire, or, you know, working because that's what he likes to do, is a good Canadian, you know, delivering. I think it's very easy to integrate a TMS and train them. Everybody's scared of change, and I don't want to go on a change management thing, but they operate a phone, they pay their bills, and they drive a car to work.
Yeah.
They'll figure out 3 clicks or 4 clicks,
Yeah,
and I think you need to support them in that little facet. So
that's one thing that we put a lot of time on, about support, and it's not just doing the sales, but it's doing the after sales and supporting customers and integrating different tools and different way of doing things.
Yeah, removing the friction, making it easier, and being able to predict and execute your next moves is true AI. So you know, our thing is you know, the iteration of AI is at the beginning, but really what SOPHIA is like a computer. If you would take the chess computer, for that matter, it's just calculating the next right move. So it's very rare. Kasparov, I think, beat the computer, and then the popular kid today beat the computer at chess. But these are, you know, few examples, and you have to have a 99, 99% accuracy, or 98. So that's like a brain computing at a very fast
rate than
So that's all it is. It's like taking a calculator and then being able to add on to that.
The same way that when you're in school, you're using your little calculator instead of like doing it on paper with a pen.
Yeah, well, there's a predictability, like on my bank one of my bank applications. There's a predictability of my cash flow for the next month based on previous spending in the last month and the month of the same year of the last time. So year over year or month over month. So that is wild. That's just telling you, like, the banks know where we're at.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
yeah.
The same thing on the transportation side.
It's exact same thing.
Okay.
Exact same thing. We know, like, Johnny is always late, or Johnny is very good at this, and all this is programmed into SOPHIA's brain, and she starts to read it.
Okay, so it takes in charge the routes, historical data, but it does take in charge also the driver behavior. Driver
preferences. Maybe you know, this guy or girl wants to start at 9 a.m. every day and work a little later because they like the swing shift, or they don't do the ports, they only do rail terminals, or they you know, whatever, they work Monday to Friday or Tuesday to Saturday. The amount of hours available left.
This is interesting because it's based on the driver first.
Always. Yeah.
That's a fine approach to it. Like, most of the time, people developing tools or AI tools for industry doesn't really take our industry doesn't start with our industry at the right spot, and it's a driver first industry.
It is
they're operating on the field every day. So if you don't present them a tool for them first, simplifying their life, their operation, their day, it's kind of hard. There's a lot of friction if you don't do that.
The planning of a driver's day is so critical to them, and that's where a lot of the conversation happens. Why'd you give me this and not this? Certainly on you know, local deliveries, on line haul as well. but they ask certain questions. This provides complete transparency and says, look, this is the data that you provided us with, which you were able to do, which are hours of service and everything. Here are the customers that match that profile. Here's how the plan spits out. And moreover, in our industry, it's very hard to measure dead miles, meaning when I'm not moving freight, when I'm bobtail, when my trailer's empty, when I'm going to do a pickup. This measures all of that, and the plan is based on reducing the dead miles. Okay. So it's very so it works for the company, takes the driver's input of what that human likes to do, and you could change that input if there's some weeks where no, I could work more, or I could work do longer distance. So it's all self-managed by the driver, and then the company gets to choose what customers are priorities, because the truth is there are priority customers. There's VIP classes for everybody. So it takes all that and spits out a plan, and our onboarding is 1 week.
So it's not.
It's literally an application. It's not a full TMS. It's an application that pulls data from your TMS, the criteria we need via API, spits it back, uses historical data, so we'll read a lot of the files, all the data sets, and understand your business and spit out plans daily.
Okay. Does it require some inputs?
Mm-hmm. So the two things that you have to do on the Alpha Intellect or SOPHIA product is set up the driver criteria. So dispatchers like to do it themselves, but I like to say make sure the drivers understand, and then set up your customer criteria rated by star. Okay. So the truth or the dirty business of the industry is that a lot of truckers will overbook and not say no. So you'll probably, and that's okay, as long as we're transparent about it. So what it'll do is it'll take your 3-star, 4-star, 5-star customers and plan those first versus your 1-star customers. And a 1-star customer could be, whatever that person deems a customer to be. In our case, it could be a Gmail account that needs somebody to pick up a container. If I'm overbooked, probably my top. But at least one thing that happens in our industry is some people don't let them know. You have enough time to let them know. So as a customer, if the transporter is using a software like SOPHIA, there's no reason why you don't know what the plan is.
And you can be transparent about it.
Absolutely. You posted, it's beautiful. That's the beauty of it. So there's no hiding behind it. There's no I'm late. There's no I'm sick. SOPHIA shows up every day.
There was too much traffic on 20.
That's it.
No, you can't.
It's super easy.
All right.
Yeah, it's look, it's saved our we took a gamble of not rehiring and it worked. So yeah.
So how was it? Let's say let's just play for the sake of playing.
Yeah.
The day you installed SOPHIA to your dispatcher.
Yeah.
How did it went?
Well, they didn't want to play nice with it, so the setup of the drivers wasn't fully good. Setup of the customers wasn't fully good. And we hadn't deployed it to the mass market yet. So there was certainly some things that we needed to fix. But even at that point, when you're making me think back, was like, if it took, I'll say his name, Stefan, 4 hours to plan, at least we were down to 2 now, but we were down to 2 with people who didn't know what we were doing. And as we adjusted the criteria within the drivers and customers, it became a no-brainer.
So further you go down that.
Yeah, then we were ready, and then everybody adopted in on it because their pushback was they thought we were replacing the dispatchers, but the day-to-day, you still need human contact, and that's an important part of it. The planner wholeheartedly is reduced to a business analyst where you're reading dead miles and you can get some feedback from a dispatcher, but the planner has, can be transitioned into, planners have many skills. And they understand the customers very well. So understanding those customers, we turn into a value-added sales person. Yeah.
So that's where you can gain from dead miles. You say
you're measuring dead miles. You're measuring hour of service. You're getting a real snapshot of this. Eventually, SOPHIA is now a web page that you go to that pulls your data. So it's super easy to use. But the truth is, this is a crutch between it just being embedded in the TMS. So we present you where you let SOPHIA plan your day, it spits out a plan, and then you could push the plan back to your TMS. So you don't have to drag or drop or click. We do that step as the industry sort of still wants control of what gets pushed back. In our company, it's whatever SOPHIA says goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're fully committed.
Yeah, because the dead miles is what rules.
Yeah.
You know, we got to meet, I forget his name. We got to meet an astronaut, and it was cool. We spent the day at NASA, and we asked how you build high performance teams, and do you trust your gut when you're planning?
Uh-huh.
What happens when you're in the air and something goes wrong, or you're in outer space and something goes wrong? You know, do you ever go with your gut? And they rehearse daily. And his answer was, and I love this quote, he said, your gut has shit for brains, literally. So it's
Okay.
and he's like, you know, I don't do all the studying and preparation to go with, you know, to go
with
my gut on that. And, you know, certainly as an entrepreneur, you have to get to, you know, 80% and then 20% is gut. But I think too many people are at the 50% mark with gut, or 30, or going off of what Tim knows Johnny will be there on time and they have a relationship.
Yeah.
SOPHIA's very agnostic. It's measured on data points. You're good, you're not.
Exactly. The data is the data.
The data is the data. So it's based on that criteria, and when you do that, it removes the human aspect of being favored, and we're basing it on, I repeat, dead miles, which as a business owner running a transportation company, I want to reduce the most. The most I want to be the most efficient with my miles.
Would you say that the dead mile thing is probably the biggest, I'd say, the biggest opportunity for somebody working in the transportation business, or is it where the real money is?
Well, the question we got out, because we didn't have it originally, we were just happy with spitting out a plan every day.
Okay.
Like, I was just like, we have a plan. We just saved 4 hours of somebody's time. This is insane in 2 minutes.
And reinvest these 4 hours.
Yeah. So somebody said to us, well, you know, how do you measure your success on this? And we were like, well, you don't have the planner anymore. But then we noticed, like, planners were like, well, I would have done this differently. It's like, okay, well, let's deep dive. Well, was the driver set up wrong? Like, what is wrong here? And what we learned was it was more based on feeling. I know Tim will be there at this time. Yes, but that we can't control. Like, we'll see it through behavior.
Yeah.
One thing we can control is the data points that are in there. So whatever SOPHIA sees, we're able to do, and we look at historical data, be able to predict. I'm going on a tangent. I forget your question, but
is the even me?
Yeah.
No, but I get what you're saying. That at some point.
So the dead miles.
The dead miles, yeah.
So then we were like, okay, we'll measure the dead miles, and now you're able to at least see your dead miles, which I don't know of a company that's telling me any dead miles, TMS or not. So it's a very good value add. And as a business owner, I want to reduce that. So when somebody was like, hey, how do we measure, you know, are we able to measure the dead miles? We were like, okay, let's figure it out. So we have, you know, we're integrated, and we pull those miles that we're running empty and full. So
just like as a planner would do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the planner doesn't plan that at all. There's no TMS that gives you visibility.
No, sorry. Yeah.
So this is just
gut. The planner doesn't do.
Nobody does it. Yeah. So you're going on. You're just happy if you have 100 loads to move tomorrow that you're leaving today and they're planned. Your nightmare is when, I don't know, somebody calls in sick tomorrow and you have to replan. So now SOPHIA is able to execute a new plan if you want. Sometimes you just say that delivery doesn't get delivered, but you have a bunch of different options.
That's your 10%.
Yeah, exactly.
You
could still, you know, do what you need to do. So there is flexibility. We're not full, you know, the robots aren't driving the trucks.
No human interaction at all.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Okay. You think that it's going to be there at some point? Do you see that? Or you think that humans will still have a role to play?
I think we got to figure out what humans will do first before AI takes over. I think there'll be a pushback. You know, you see a lot of negotiations with all the unions of the ports and everything as they go fully more automated. There's a port in LA where it's you could hear like it's completely, there's no engines, no nothing. You don't hear anything. It's completely autonomous. So I think, you know, those negotiations with the ports were harder this year over the last couple of years as they see automation coming in. It's really figuring out how do we work with them. And if you're in that area where, you know, over the next 15 years, that job might not be there, or look very different to the way it is today, it's something to look at. Like throughout history, we've we started with black and white TVs. We went to color.
We all had
We
all had Blackberries.
Now we're putting them on our eyes. And,
exactly.
So
Okay.
I think that AI is here. It's how fast
It's gonna
we adopt it.
Yeah, we adopt it. I was to say take over, but
Yeah.
it's not
I think
really,
we have to adopt it.
Yeah.
And if we're, I think people are realizing, getting more knowledgeable with AI, or at least understanding how automation works. Yeah.
Okay, let's play a game.
Okay.
Let's say we're in 2050.
2050. Okay.
Every truck is electric, and all of a sudden,
I don't believe that every truck will be electric.
Okay, but let's just play for the sake of playing. Okay, everything is electric.
Yeah.
And where do you think? No, let's say what kind of form dispatcher department, or transportation operation would look like?
So it's funny. We do 10 years. When you bring me down 25, I'm gonna go.
Okay, let's do 10.
No, but we could. I'll expand my mind.
All right, good.
I didn't do the mushrooms I needed to do for this podcast, but I'll attempt this.
We can just cut and come back in.
I think as orders. So the vision is, as orders come in, they get planned and a sequence until there's a cutoff. Okay. So the tool of having somebody sort of, it's a manufacturing line. So if you're a company, and I'm using my hands, I don't know if the camera sees this, and an order comes in, it goes into a queue and it gets planned. Okay. How those work with autonomous trucks and drones, I mean, that's already those pieces are there, and humans are still intercepting those data points. But eventually we will see this subside. Does it happen in 25 years? Well, if we go back 25 years, we didn't even have, we were using CDs, right? Yeah. Yeah. So we were using CDs, and we were worried about... yeah. Yeah. And I was at, and we were worried about Y2K.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? So think about how far we'll go. Like, I remember I was working at Club Dome bartending, and they had generators in case the power went out, because we didn't know what would happen when everything went to 0. That's how ignorant we were. So I think just try to imagine 25 years from now. I know this is crazy. Orders will come in and no humans will touch it. Now, the driver aspect, will it be autonomous? I'm not fully sold on the electric. Me neither. On the only electric solution, I think there's other energies that'll work out there. I don't know how California, unless they plan to do all solar. I don't know how that. I don't think Elon has a plan for that. I know a lot of people in California dislike Elon, so I don't get it. But all these electrifications, I think there's hydrogen. I think there's natural gas. I think so.
Well, if we come back, to this date today, I don't think that electric trucks are going to be the sole solution here. No, there's going to be a bunch of solutions. Yeah, batteries have their limits at some point.
Do you think they'll be autonomous?
I think they will be autonomous. Yeah. It will be bullish to say that there's going to be I'm working in the transport. We're in this business, and we do on my side. I do applaud every driver I see on the road. It's a hell of a job. Yeah, really a hell of a job. And high five to them, really, because I wouldn't do it. I tried it a couple of times. I tried it for a week. Yeah, and I wouldn't do it. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it's tough. It's a real hard job. Though, if you put that in perspective, how hard it is as a job, I see it down the road that at some point it's going to disappear. Yeah, I don't know. I think it becomes a political play. If we watch American politics, who pretty much governs how AI is going to work, certainly in Canada and trying the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. Tucker Carlson had I forget who he was having a podcast with, but they were talking about autonomous trucks, and he would ban, and I forget who the politician was. You could find it. We can find it after. But he says he would ban autonomous trucks. Okay. So it becomes to keep the drivers, so the union votes. It becomes more political. So that's where I think AI could go as far. Like when we see it with Sam Altman leaving OpenAI, to which he funded and started, that there's friction beyond things that we understand today. Exactly. So where it'll be, I think it could be very fast.
I don't know how politicized it becomes.
Yeah. I think the political aspect of it is going to slow it down a lot, and that's perfectly fine for me.
Yeah,
it's just that at some point we all thought that Blackberries were like the greatest thing ever, and all of a sudden there's iPhone, and no, I still want buttons. Yeah. What happened to BlackBerry is in the books, and we all know what happened. And now we're running on the 16th version of it.
Is it 15 or 16?
15, 16. The 16 is probably coming out soon if it didn't already.
It's no, it's certainly.
But there's no stopping innovation. That was a point.
Yeah.
And it's hard to see drivers and having butts in seat driving the truck. Maybe they'll still have a human in the truck.
Yeah.
Just to make sure, or as a safety option, or whatever. But it's hard to see drivers drive the trucks going down.
When I went to Vegas in 2016, so we're 2023, 7 years ago, there was taxis bringing you around fully autonomous.
Right.
And the driver was sitting in the passenger, and that's 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
So that's 2016, and that was at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show every year. And so if you just think about like what happened in 7 years, we didn't develop. Yeah. So I think there's what are we going to do with everybody? Yeah. I think we need to figure that out as a human race. If we're going to start truly eliminating jobs.
Yeah.
But as it relates to, I think there's some good AI that could make companies more competitive without, infringing in society.
So job loss.
But to your point, I think innovation continues for a long time. Look, if Henry Ford would have asked the people, "What do you guys want?" they would have said faster horses. So he made a car. That's it. And then just in our generation, like we could jump. We got Musk that's launching a rocket and landing a rocket. The government couldn't do it for years. So private enterprise is there. I think we're going to continue to develop it. And now, where if we take NASA, if I just go back to the NASA example, the government used to run that. Now the most powerful rocket maker in the world is a private equity.
Yeah.
Along with I forget Jeff Bezos. He has Blue Origin. Blue Origin. So the powers have shifted. I think everybody needs to come together and figure out what to do. And I think we see AI being discussed at mainstream media when you're talking about a CEO leaving. But I think that sort of scared me that they were upping and.
What was it? Yeah, that was a scary shift.
I should have sent him an offer. I didn't know he was going for it.
He was going for it. Come over here. We have SOPHIA.
We have SOPHIA.
We have SOPHIA.
Neither.
But it would be SM Altman in Montreal. Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, I was reading, there's a Canadian, I feel like pulling up, there's a Canadian connected to this whole thing.
Okay.
We'll look at it. There's a Canadian connected to this whole thing who was on the board, who had voted, who I think is siding with Sam Altman. I don't know why we're talking about this so much, but 700 employees wrote an open letter saying they'd quit if he doesn't come back. Out of 730 at open.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they're just butthurt that the fucking leader left.
Yeah. But there again,
we're leaving.
It's a money game. Yeah. It's a political game again.
Yeah.
Whatever. So where do you see, let's put it that way, where do you see a transportation company in 10 years?
Where do I see it in 10 years? Do you have a Siri or Alexa in your house?
No, I don't.
Why?
No, I don't.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's
weird.
Do you? Yeah. Do you?
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I don't really use it.
No, not yet.
Just for music.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I see where you're going.
So I use it every day. Okay. So I have it set up where
you're doing AI, so you better be.
Well, I think people stay away from it, but that thing is listening for sure. I just don't care.
Yeah.
So I use it every day. I'll get to where I think it's going, but when I'm in my shower, I'm listening to the news of the day, the way I want it set up. I have a bunch of young kids, so I have to know how to dress them in the morning. We have crazy weather here. So they know to ask Alexa the weather. birthdays are set up, reminders for me are set up, so I hear them in the day. And number one is music. There's always music playing in my house. So that's how we use it. So the reason why I ask is that nobody has voice activation in their office. Yeah. So I think the next iteration before we allow, I was talking about just embed SOPHIA, let it do the plan, let it plan. I think the next iteration is providing some voice activation to a live dispatch and how things are moved within systems, just with voice. And I think the mouse goes away.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Really?
Yeah, that's how well, SOPHIA will do that for TMSs. That's for sure. Voice activation is a big part of, I think, what we could do.
The next step of it.
Yeah, wasn't it in like Mallrats? I'm dating myself for real, but where like they're able to like use the Jedi mind trick to try to move something.
Yeah.
I think we could use our voices to get things done within a computer, and we already see it. I think if you open up Outlook, like you could record an email. My brother sends me voice text. I think that's like super annoying just for me, like because it's easier for the sender, but not for
the receiver.
Not for the receiver. What if I don't want everybody to hear this?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think voice within the office place becomes a bigger play.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to be doing. In supply chain, that's what SOPHIA will be adding on. We need some voice.
Said a little thing, but are you working on it?
Yeah.
Right now, as of now, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We're always we're nonstop developing. We're onboarding clients too, but always we have our plan. Yeah, nonstop until find a little until we can get some outland, then we'll go even faster.
Yeah. Sam, if you're listening, come over here. Somebody's watching.
Be good. For $0.
Yeah, $0.
You gotta put in.
You got
the Canadien, George St. Pierre.
Yeah. Pierrot's still there.
Pierrot's still there. Does F1,
Yeah. So if you want to learn French, there's still plenty of hockey locker room here.
Elon Musk had coffee here when he was a kid. It's in his book. He had passed through Montreal. Oh. Yeah, he was Canadian. He went to go live with, I think, his aunt in Saskatchewan, somewhere.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like that's the beginning of his journey in North America. Yeah.
Passed by Montreal.
He stayed here. Yeah, he remembered it. It's in his book. He remembered it being cold.
Yeah, that's all you get. That's all you get out of it.
Dude, come in July.
Come in July, man.
That's super cool.
Yeah. A bunch of festivals.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't have any more questions for you though.
Super cool, man. It was a pleasure. Yeah, thanks for having me at. I love the counter.
Yeah.
Have me back anytime.
Anytime you want.
I appreciate it.
Right.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Is that cool, man?